Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our April user group. Thanks very much for joining us. It's great to see so many of you attending. I'm Poppy Bilas, Marketing Executive here at I2O, and I'm joined by Dan Gangai. Dan, do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm on the product team here at I2O, and I'm looking forward to giving you this update on our products and software services today. Thanks, Poppy.
Thank you, Dan. Firstly, I'd like to welcome back those of you who have previously joined our user groups and say a warm welcome to those who are joining us for the first time. Before we get started, I'll go through some house rules and reminders. So you'll see that you're all on listen-only mode. So if you do have any questions, please raise your hand using the hand icon as shown on the screen, and I can then unmute you. Please ensure you introduce yourself before you ask a question. Or alternatively, you can use the questions/chat menu of the GoToWebinar window and just type your questions instead. Feel free to use this panel for any questions throughout the webinar, and we'll answer as many questions as we can at the end. And as usual, we'll be recording the user group. So when you receive the recording, feel free to share with your colleagues that weren't able to make it today. I'll begin by giving a brief intro of I2O and some of the highlights that have happened since our October user group, before handing over to Dan, who will discuss our eNet solution and recently relaunched iNet solution, as well as a section on mobile network technologies. I'll then be updating you all on our product roadmaps before finally covering off any questions that might have been submitted. So, kicking off with a brief introduction to I2O, we provide smart water network solutions for water utilities with over 100 water utilities in more than 35 countries using our solutions. We're headquartered here in the UK with offices in Malaysia, Colombia and Dubai. It's been another busy quarter for us. We've relaunched our network monitoring solution, iNet, which brings together network relevant information, extracts insight from it and makes it available in ways that make it actionable. Dan will then take us through our eNet demo later on. You can keep up with all of our latest news on our website and social media channels. If anyone is interested in receiving our blog and press releases each month, please do subscribe via the news page of our website. We now offer 4 smart network solutions: DNet, our data collection solution; iNet, our data visualization solution, which allows our clients to gain maximum insight from data gathered from their network; ONET, which is our optimization solution. ONET enables you to remotely control and automatically optimize pressure at PRVs and pumps across your entire network. And last but not least, eNet, an event management solution that enables everyone to play their part in efficiently diagnosing and resolving large and small events wherever they are. Before I hand you over to Dan, I've just got a quick poll question for you to answer. So, do you currently have a software tool that shows information about your water network in a map view?
Great, thanks, Poppy. I just checking the results here of that last poll, and I see that the majority of people do in fact have a tool to view information about their water network in a map. And we're quite interested in that, and we're going to see some maps in the next part of our session in iNet. So let's go into that. Right, most of you will be familiar with the iNet functions for network monitoring that we already have, such as aggregating DMAs data in graphs, but we are now making new features available by extending the user interface, which was first developed for our PRV condition monitoring solution. iNet is integrated with other I2O solutions, but it is a separate software service for network monitoring, insights, and analytics. So why are I2O's clients looking for a solution like this? Well, there's a lot more sensors on water networks these days, and that is creating some problems. The information is collected in different places from different vendors' devices. You need more and more people to analyze the data, and you have more and more assets to maintain on the network. The net result of all of this is that you have many more sensors deployed across your network to get better network coverage, but there hasn't been a corresponding increase or improvement in the time it takes to identify and to resolve problems on a network, or in the timeliness and the cost of asset maintenance. iNet helps to solve these problems by offering features that quickly direct you toward the issues that need your attention and to filter out all that data that you've gathered that doesn't need your attention at this point in time. So here are some of the features that are currently available. Now, one of the ways to navigate your log data is to use a map. The icons on this map represent different location types, and they can be filtered just to show the ones that you are interested in. So you see, for example, we have inlets, outlets, critical points, as you'd expect, and each one has a different icon, and you can zoom in and out of this graph, out of this map, to see all the locations and quickly navigate via just using a mouse. Clicking on one of the icons will show additional details about the location and also give you the ability to drill down and to see its corresponding data graphs. There are now advanced search capabilities which use the Google Maps database to quickly jump to an area within your network, or you can refer to specific names and identifiers for your particular assets, all within the same search box. Alarms now for pressure and flow show as separate icons on the map. This allows you to filter the icons displayed on the map to quickly find the hot spots where multiple alarms are triggered across a wide area. Once you find a location with an alarm, you can drill down to see the related log data, and by selecting a particular alarm, the affected time span is highlighted on the graph. In addition to PRV condition monitoring, we now enable you to better manage your estate of logging devices by allowing you to quickly filter to see which devices have failed to send data. This could be an indicator of a power supply issue or a change in the mobile network's communications network. The different filtering options help you to prioritize and group which devices need to be serviced. I2O's data platform can ingest or import pressure and flow data from a variety of sources and is not restricted to I2O's own loggers and pressure controllers. All log data can be analyzed by iNet to give you maximum value from your data gathered across your entire water network. We will be adding many new features to iNet over the next year, and we'll cover these in a future webinar.
Thanks, Dan, for taking us through those features. What do you use to track network events? An event like a major burst, for example. So please just type your answer now.
Right, okay. Thanks for those responses. Yeah, I see there's a number of manual tools like Microsoft Word, Excel, Post-it notes, and then some automated solutions, various work management systems. So that's great. Thanks for all those responses. Appreciate that.
And just before we go through our eNet solution, I've just got one more poll question for you guys. Okay, are there regulatory requirements where you have to report on the duration of events, for example, an interruption to supply? So if you could select yes or no or not sure for this question.
Great, thanks for responding to our last question. It sees that the majority of people from all the countries that are represented here do have regulatory requirements. So that's a common thread for across our water companies here. So let's get into eNet. So eNet is a software service for managing events such as bursts, sewer overflows, water quality events, and health and safety or security incidents. Two key issues make event management difficult. First, relevant and accurate information can be difficult to obtain and assess because it is held in various people's heads and in various systems. Second, it isn't easy to keep everyone up to date in every location with every decision, action, and its rationale. Because of this, an incident room is usually set up for large events, and people often have to stay late or come into an office earlier at weekends. Smaller events are managed in an ad hoc way and may escalate into large events as a result. Time is lost in diagnosing and resolving events, and activities can be missed or duplicated. And all of this impedes decision making. Therefore, during events, more water is lost, more pollution occurs, more customers are affected, more penalties imposed, and there's more damage to your reputation potentially. So ENET is a software service from I2O that allows you to create an event, add activities, and update the status of those activities during the life cycle of the whole event. You can also monitor and update the people about the progress of the event as it unfolds. All of this can be done by different people in different locations by using different devices. Once the event is concluded, it can be closed, and a post-event review can be conducted. In this way, all events, whether large or small, are diagnosed and resolved more quickly. Accurate information is rapidly available to everyone in every location. Key steps aren't missed or duplicated. Activities are well coordinated, and decision-making is improved. Overall, actions are prioritized more effectively and tracked, and senior management is kept well informed automatically and rapidly. And finally, post-event analysis and reporting is much more efficient and effective. Let's take a look at the software in action. Here's a dashboard view. It enables senior managers to ascertain at a glance what's going on right now. Let's assume that network monitoring systems or calls from customers have alerted us to an event. We can create an event here, and let's say it's in Columpton, and it started on the 1st of October. Once an event has been created, we can start to add actions to it. To illustrate this, we're going to look at an event that's already in progress. Various actions have been added, and an engineer is already on site. So let's imagine we're the engineer on site and we're adding an update. You can select from a pre-populated list of activities. The product ships with a generic list of activities, but these can be tailored. You can do that easily during the installation process. In this instance, we're going to say that the logger is deployed. And this is what an event looks like when it's fully populated. The summary view can be expanded without having to drill down on each activity in turn. So it's a quick way to see what's happening and get relevant information. You may also notice that some of these activities are redacted or crossed out. This is extremely useful because it allows you to see all the events that occurred afterwards when you're trying to learn lessons from maybe what went wrong. And that's a quick tour to show you how easy it is to use the ENET solution. It's available on all device types, PCs, laptops, tablets, phones, and it's powered by Badger Software's Clio product, which is used by almost every police force here in the UK for critical incident management, as well as by a range of other industries for general event management. It's preloaded with standard water industry events and activity types, but as I mentioned, these can be tailored to your local language, terminology, and any existing business processes you already have established. And because it's a software service, and you don't need any additional IT hardware, implementation, or maintenance, you can just start using it, and any new functionality will be immediately available for you to use. Back to you, Poppy.
Thanks for taking us through that, Dan. So as before, please raise your hand if you'd like to ask us a question relating to ENET. And you can also download the ENET brochure and the ENET video from the handouts panel at the moment. So we have got Mordecai Feldman. I'm just unmuting you now. Hi, Mordecai.
The question is how an event is identified. Is it by if-then else or algorithms or what?
So I'm sorry, could you repeat? I missed the beginning. Is what assessed by algorithms?
Event. ENET identifies the occurrence of events, right? How is it identified?
Right, okay, so the initial entry is maybe a customer service event. An inquiry comes in, or a series of inquiries come in via customer service, and so they would manually log in and type in an event. We are also envisioning in the future integration with INET, where if certain alarms are triggered or groups of alarms are triggered, that could raise an event as well. But today, what we offer is that whatever manual processes you presently have, that's how you would go about getting things in. But definitely in the future, we would look through all the data being gathered, run that through algorithms, and look for any event-worthy things that are happening, and those can be acted on at that point.
We have a question from Davidi Rom. So, okay, hi Davidi.
Hi, good morning to everybody. I would like to get more information. It is about the issue that I'm calling smart grid. So once the EMEA concept, for example, what it's important from my point of view, it is, let's say, the expected night line. So that doesn't matter if the customer is adding the parameter, will be the expected night line, or if we can learn from the past what it was, and then to compare with the actual night line to get for example, the alert. Some of my clients, they are very interesting about to use all the potential for a lot of data that are coming and to make it for a knowledge and to make it, as we said, smart grid.
Yeah, okay. Right, so we actually do have nightline alarms now within the DNet solution. And so that would be a trigger for an event. I can imagine that you might have some thresholds. We don't have that feature today, but certainly that's something we are considering. But you would have a threshold for what, how much far above or to what degree it is above the normal nightline. And that would then trigger the event that could then be followed up on.
I tried to use this alarm about the night line, but I have a few comments about that. First of all, it's almost invisible when you get the alarm screen, so it's very, very low lines, and you cannot define it. And once we are working with the DMA and we know about how many customers are saying, so it's easier to calculate it will be the expected night line. So it will be very helpful if you can add this line, this graph about what it will be the expected. And once you have a problem, you can see that. And then to get this line in the monitoring screen, not in the alarm screen.
Yes, I understand you're saying you want the nightline alarms shown on the graph.
Yes.
So the alarm. So right now we have that only on the configuration as a way to help you set it to an appropriate value. And I'm trying to understand what benefit would there be to showing it also on the graph.
First of all, once in one look, you can see where are you standing, and most of the time it's helpful about just to see the data how it's come. And I didn't come to the issue about what it will be. It depends about if it is hot or cold, rain or unrain. Just the very simple expected nightline. I tried to use it with alarm about to add the parameter, but it's not working properly.
Okay, well that's good feedback. We do have a way to submit ideas such as this. I don't know if you're aware of it, but it's ideas@i2owater.com. So if you have, I encourage all of you on the call today to submit specific suggestions of how to present data. We're always open to that. And Davini, we could follow up afterward. I can show you maybe a few more things about what's available today and how you might use it differently, perhaps, than what how you're using it today. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So within iNet, this is from Gerald. Within iNet, are alarm thresholds adaptive or fixed by the operator? So presently today, they are fixed, but within this year, we will release a feature that will set alarm thresholds for you. We have algorithms that will run on the data and establish what are the normal behavior for a particular location. And then as new data comes in, seasonal changes, it will adjust those thresholds for long range trends where it's appropriate. So that's something that's coming this year.
Okay. Thanks for those questions. There will be more opportunities for you to submit questions, both verbally and through that panel. So please continue to do that, and we'll answer as many as we can at the end of the session. So I now have our fourth and final poll question for you. 2G mobile networks have been shut off in some regions, and some network providers are reducing the availability of 2G to make way for newer technologies. So the question is, have you observed a reduction in network performance for 2G logging devices in your region?
Great. Well, I see that there is no majority here. It seems evenly split between nearly a third, and a third, not quite. Quite a few people are not quite sure how the state of the 2G networks in their region are. But the reason that we're asking this question is that I2O needs your feedback on your experience with getting devices to dial up reliably to our platform, or even other devices that you have and your experience with those. Because we are hearing reports from around the world that places where mobile signals were once consistently reliable are now quite intermittent. This will result in data gaps in the data graphs when the connections cannot be made at all, or when they're not sustained long enough to send the recently logged data. So mobile networks are complex technologies, which I'm sure a lot of you can appreciate. But they're made to look simple with mobile phones, but getting a device underground to send data is not trivial. So for example, a location may appear to have good signal strength based on the value that's logged during the dial-ups, but that does not mean the connection is good enough to transmit data over the internet. Think of the times, for example, that you've looked up a website on your phone and the page failed to load or loads very slowly. Logging devices experience the same sort of intermittent issues, especially when connecting to legacy networks where the phone companies tend to make the phone experience more robust than it would for other devices. So anyway, to help you understand some of the new mobile technology available and how I2O is taking advantage of them, we thought it would be beneficial to briefly cover this topic. So the 2G and 3G and 4G networks that you're familiar with were all designed with mobile phone users in mind. As each new generation of data network becomes available, the telcos want to encourage use of the newer technologies. Because there's a limited radio spectrum available, they need to decide how much of their total bandwidth they'll give to each technology. In places like the United States and Australia, they've already turned off 2G. In other regions, some of the mobile providers have announced plans to reduce 2G availability. Of course, mobile phone users are not the only customers of the telcos, and these companies see big opportunities for what's now referred to as the Internet of Things, or IoT for short. This is where machines will talk to other machines over the internet. In our case, it's where loggers and controllers connect to a server and send data and receive configuration information. These things have different requirements than mobile phones. First, they tend to be battery powered and cannot be recharged every day. Secondly, they tend to be in hard to reach places like chambers underground with thick metal covers that block radio waves. To meet the needs of these devices, the telecommunications industry have now invested in what is called low power wide area networks, or that's LPWAN for short. Because the radio wavelength used and the reduced power requirements for these new technologies, these are ideal for the things in the ground that we're all concerned with here. Two popular LPWAN technologies are called narrowband IoT and NB-IoT for short. And then there's also Cat M1. The technical name for NB-IoT is also called Cat NB1. You may see this in some network specifications. NB-IoT seems to be the marketing name for that one though, so you may see that both used interchangeably. I2O have designed a device that works both with NB-IoT and Cat M1, and we are field testing it around the world where these networks are starting to be rolled out. Our testing so far has shown that the time to establish a connection is shorter than with 2 and 3G. This is because the network gets the device straight onto the internet instead of preparing it for the things that a mobile phone would typically need to do, like make phone calls. So this is good news for our clients because a shorter connection time would result in a longer battery life. We will continue our field trials of these new networks as they're established. These devices are future-proofed, so they will work now with 2G networks, and when they detect an NB-IoT or Cat M1 network when they're available, they will prioritize using this network over 2G, and then continue working when the 2G is shut off. If you are aware of any telcos rolling out IoT networks in your region, please let us know about it. Thanks, Poppy. Back to you.
Thanks, Dan. So I'll start by diving into the platform roadmap. You can see that the items in grey are those features and plans we've delivered on already, and the ones in blue are still pending completion at the moment. We've continued to enhance the platform in areas of security, accessibility and management updates, also improving incremental data extracts. We'll continue to improve the platform performance throughout 2019. Moving on to DNet, we've improved device diagnostics and enhanced alarm functionality, allowing users to review previous alarms and set additional dial-up intervals. This year, we're also working on an Android configurator app for Logger 2017, which was launched for Logger 14 last year. This year, we're also currently working on automated asset location recording through Mobile Configurator, and we'll be trialling NB-IoT compatible loggers. With ONET, this year we plan to trial NB-IoT compatible controllers, and Mobile Configurator will support Control Logger 17 into 2019 too. At the end of last year, we significantly enhanced the analytical functions of iNet to deliver insights about network performance. We've now got 6 insight areas available, viewable through 4 interfaces: dashboard, work card, graph, and map. During this year, we are continuing to work with a limited number of clients as development partners for the iNet solution. Finally, on to eNet. As you already know, eNet was released last year and supports network events, wastewater events, and health and safety events. Last year, we developed a generic set of water industry activities for network events, and this year we'll be working on developing activities for health and safety, quality, and sewer overflow events, as well as improving the mobile support. So if you think there's something missing on our roadmap, or if you've got any particular feedback or suggestions, like Dan said earlier, you can submit these to ideas@i2owater.com via an email. We've had some great suggestions already, which the team are actively monitoring and reviewing. And just a reminder, if you need any help and support, we have a help centre which provides articles and user guides on all of our solutions. You can find this at support.i2owater.com. Our technical support team are also happy to provide further training on all of our solutions to those who need it. So please don't hesitate to get in touch via email to support@i2owater.com. So now on to the question and answers section of the webinar. Plenty of questions have been popping up throughout the webinar. Don't worry if you haven't submitted any yet, there's still time. So please drop them into the questions/chat panel, and we're monitoring it now.
Right, we have one question about Mobile Configurator. Right now, Mobile Configurator only supports Logger 14, but within the next quarter, we'll be releasing a version that supports Control Logger 17s. And then after that, in the second half of the year, we'll have Control Logger as well. So there'll be no need to take a laptop out after we release that.
Okay, thanks, Dan. If you have any more questions, do submit them now. So as some of you may already be aware, we have a LinkedIn user group to keep you updated with new solutions and latest features, and provide useful information on common technical issues, and keep you informed of our upcoming user group webinars. You can now see our contact details on the screen. So if you have any additional questions or would like to know more about anything we've covered today, please do contact us or check out the support website at support.i2owater.com. So thank you very much for all the feedback you've provided on our user group today. Thanks to those who verbally raised questions as well. Finally, thanks very much to Dan, and thank you so much to everyone who took part in our user group. I hope you've enjoyed it and we've covered some useful information for you to put into practice. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye everyone. Thanks for attending.